Welcome, kind and esteemed viewers. This is your bestie lady, Femi Chatterington. Are you ready for the latest dose of saucy scandal amidst the illustrious ton? Prepare your ears, for this bit of gossip is sure to rattle your teacups and have high society mamas clutching their pearls from the shock of it all. Do get comfortable and join me for a spell. Pour yourself a cup and let's sip on some hot English tea together. And please don't be shy when tempted to reach for the biscuit tray. Sometimes you need something a little sweet to wash away the naughty from your palate. Oh my heart. I do wonder at times if the audaciousness of the ton will ever cease. Just when you think the scandal couldn't get any worse, there is always a member of the ton who bests them all. My dears, as you all know, Miss Clarissa's wedding to the dashing Lord Jonathan Hawke, the Earl of Norwich, was the event of the season. The chapel was adorned with the most exquisite flowers and decorations, and the joy on both their faces as they exchanged vows was truly heartwarming. But what most of us were unaware of is the turmoil that befell her in the weeks leading up to that glorious day. Lord Wright, her former betrothed, that scoundrel, was beside himself with regret after his betrayal of Miss Clarissa. His affair with the widow Griffin, who now carries his child, was the talk of every household. But instead of accepting his fate and their broken betrothal, he became obsessed with trying to win Miss Clarissa back. Apparently, he forced his presence onto the Duke of Somerset's estate, demanding to see Miss Clarissa. Can you imagine the nerve of the man? Poor Miss Clarissa, already humiliated and heartbroken, found herself further tormented by his insufferable sense of entitlement. No wonder the poor girl had locked herself away from society. Now we know it wasn't just from the shame and embarrassment of the scandal, but to avoid any encounter she may have had with him. And it gets worse. On one occasion, the Duke's men had no choice but to toss the wretched man off the property. The Duke, as we all know, is an excellent shot and could have easily challenged him to a duel. He's lucky to have left with his life. How utterly scandalous of Lord Wright, the audacity. But that's not all. Servants of Lord Wright's household have been talking about him as of late, and the gossip has travelled fast. Apparently they hold no loyalty to the disgraceful man and have been known to speak freely without a care for his reputation or their employment. It is said that when Lord Wright heard of Miss Clarissa's marriage announcement to Lord Jonathan Hawke, he was beside himself with rage. And upon hearing the news, he destroyed his own study. His footman, who was in the room with him when it occurred, was left aghast from his sudden outburst. He ran from the room in haste, concerned that Lord Wright might direct his anger at him next. The speculation is that Lord Wright was eager to acquire Miss Clarissa's substantial dowry. His debt is more significant than anyone realised. I suppose that was his plan all along, to restore his reputation and likewise his fortune by marrying the daughter of one of the most wealthy and respected members of the ton. Well, it seems that fate intervened on Miss Clarissa's behalf and allowed for his true nature to be exposed before it was too late. And I'm certain the Duke of Somerset regrets ever having agreed to such an untrustworthy man marrying his sweet daughter. Thankfully, the Duke redeemed his error of judgment and aligned Miss Clarissa with a beautiful love match with the impeccable Lord Jonathan Hawke. It seems Lord Wright's boldness knows no end. When Clarissa's wedding day finally arrived, a fellow member of the ton saw Lord Wright on the chapel grounds, lurking at a distance like an obsessed fool. I can only guess at the chaos that would have ensued had either Miss Clarissa's new husband or her father found him present. It seems that after witnessing Miss Clarissa married to her new beau, Lord Wright finally conceded defeat and swiftly agreed to marry the widow Griffin, albeit begrudgingly. Their nuptials took place in the drawing room of his estate, attended by only a handful of family and friends. It was a small, subdued affair, and there was no joy in it, just a quiet acknowledgement of the dreadful circumstances. Someone who was in attendance commented that the look on Lord Wright's face was as if he was attending his own funeral. The mood of the entire event was lacklustre, and dare I say, beyond sombre. I am certain that the new Lady Wright is fully aware of the man she has agreed to marry. We can only speculate at the type of marriage it will be. One can only hope that Lord Wright will learn from his awful deeds and perhaps change his wicked ways. But one thing is clear. Moving forward, we can assume that the majority of polite society will not be very hospitable when it comes to the outrageous pair. Meanwhile, Miss Clarissa, the new Countess of Norwich, has found true happiness with Lord Jonathan Hawke. They appear to be a perfect match, and their love story has brought much-needed joy to her and her family. Perhaps the Somerset household will also have the blessing of grandchildren sometime in the near future. And I suspect the Duke of Somerset can rest easy, knowing his daughter's honour has been restored, and that her heart is also in good hands. And that, my lovelies, is all the delicious gossip I have for now. I'm positive there will be more to share soon. So until we meet again, keep your teacups full and your ears open, because the Tun never ceases to provide an infinite supply of delicious scandal, and I wouldn't live up to my namesake if I never shared it with you, now would I? All is fair in love and war, they say. Until next time, my dears.